Mr. Chikli, the way the war is going right now, one question which is being asked almost everywhere is this. Where do you see this headed? Where are you seeing this headed? Is there any clarity in Israel or where this is headed and for how long it's headed?
Yes, absolutely. We have very specific goals for this war. One is to remove existential threats, first and foremost, the ballistic missiles of Iran. As we saw throughout the war, and this war didn't start last week, okay? This war started on October 7th, and then immediately on October 8th with Hezbollah, and then with the Houthis, and later on with Iran itself. So this is a continuation of the war that was started by Iran proxies on October the 7th. Hamas, Hezbollah, the Houthis, Iran itself, it is a continuation of the same war. Now we are fighting both Israel and the US to first remove the ballistic missiles infrastructure, and second, to eliminate Iranian military nuclear program. These are our goals in this operation. Also, we want to create the conditions that will allow the Iranian people to regain their freedom and to have a different regime that they are supporting. Because we all saw what happened in recent months when tens of thousands of innocent Iranian people who went to demonstrate against this terror regime were brutally murdered in the streets of Iran.
But my question was, where is this headed? I got your point about weakening Iran, but I found that in your comments you have not really spoken yet about a regime change in Iran. Is it because that's not very clear which direction that is taking in Iran?
No. I want to be very specific. We want to create the condition that will allow the Iranian people themselves to remove the current regime. What will be next? What will be the form of the next regime? This is up to the Iranian people. We can help the Iranian people. They were asking for help. President Trump said, help is going to come. Prime Minister Netanyahu said, help is going to come. We're going to help the people in Iran who are suffering from the brutal massacre of this regime and torturing people, etc. So we have help, and we are going against the IRGC, against the Basij, against the regime targets. But in order to replace the regime, only the Iranian people themselves can do it.
You've been advocating this personally also for a while. In fact, in January also, well before the strikes began, you and Foreign Minister of Israel were publicly posting support for Iranian street protests, calling it, I quote, a fight against darkness. You were therefore signaling publicly that Iranian people were ready to rise up. Now the war has started. It's going to be day 6. The Iranian people haven't really taken any advantage, if there are indeed so many people who want a regime change, they haven't taken any advantage of the circumstances. Is it because they believe that the regime that represents Ayatollah Khamenei, even after his death, continues to be prominent, strong, and capable of being vindictive? In that sense, has there not been adequate power projection that appears to weaken the Iranian establishment?
Well, look, we're now in the middle of the offensive. This is not the time to go on the streets while you have bombing and you have the war going on. The test for the Iranian people will come after the military stage, within 3, 4, or 5 weeks. That will be the stage when we will need to see if the Iranian people are seizing the opportunity that was created by the US and Israel. So we cannot judge now, okay? Because think about yourself. You have a war going outside, okay? You don't expect from the people to go out in the middle of a war. So we need to finish the military stage of the war, and then we can judge and see what are the Iranian people are going to do.
But there's no indication Trump says that when we are finished, take over your government, it'll be yours to take. Right. Raza Pahlavi has been making statements once again, but people don't identify with him. Mr. Minister, is it possible that after bombing a country, killing its supreme leader, and threatening whoever is going to be its next leader with assassination, that all of this may be strengthening the IRGC's grip rather than loosening it?
No, I think that the IRGC in its weakest position since the establishment of this terror regime in 1979. And I'm repeating again the message. The aggression came from Iran. The aggression came with funding of Hamas. 90% of the funding for Hamas came from Iran. For Hezbollah, the same. The Houthis, the same. This is not a war that we have started. This is a war that was orchestrated and initiated by Iran proxies as part of the wider program that they said openly. We want to eliminate the state of Israel. Khomeini, and later on Ahmadinejad, and later on Khamenei, the entire leadership in Iran, the fanatic religious leadership of Iran, said time after time, we are committed to the goal. They have a clock in the middle of Tehran counting down to the elimination of the state of Israel. And it's not just Israel, by the way. Iran has brought destruction. Take a look at the civil war in Syria and Hezbollah butchering the Sunnis. Take a war on Yemen. Take a war on their response. And by firing missiles to the entire Gulf states, Kuwait, the Emirates, etc., etc. So we can see the nature of this regime is attacks on sea, on land, with his proxies, and he himself. So therefore, I think, yes, it's uncomfortable to deal with this war. It's for several weeks. It's going to be intense. It's going to be difficult. We're also suffering casualties. We had 9 people killed in Beit Shemesh just 2 days ago. So this is a war. We don't have 100% clarity, okay, about the outcomes, but we can definitely see that we are bringing this regime into its weakest point, and we are creating an opportunity for the Iranian people to seize the moment and to take their freedom back. And they deserve it. And I have zero empathy, and I don't care about the regime in Iran and the IRGC and the Basij. These people killed much more Iranian than they killed Israelis. Okay, they have killed tens of thousands of Iranian citizens, innocent people, young men and young women who went on the streets and were fired by the Basij. Yeah. So I think we are on the right course, and we need to be a little bit patient, because the change of the regime will not happen in days and not in weeks. It will take months. It will take months, but we are creating the condition.
Are you, because you're a minister in the Israeli cabinet,
yeah,
are you speaking on behalf of the Israeli government when you call Keir Starmer one of the weakest leaders in the world? When you call Macron one of the weakest leaders in the world? When you say that you speak on behalf of the British people and not Keir Starmer, how are you so sure that an Englishman would want to fight your war? And there is a contrary view that it is important for people like Keir Starmer to look at what is in the interests of the United Kingdom. So he's sending just an hour back, he's sending his 4 Typhoon jets to Qatar, but in defense. Are you trying to dictate British foreign policy?
Not at all. I'm not trying to dictate, and we didn't ask Keir Starmer to join the war. The question was referring to his statement that he will not allow the use of his bases. It's not about participating, but it's like Sanchez, who said that he will not allow the U.S. to use its bases. And therefore, and also, my remarks are not just because of the war against Iran. My remarks goes all over the time where Keir Starmer has led Britain. So it's not just about the current moment. And we can see that Britain is becoming weaker and weaker under his administration. We can see the Islamists taking over the cities we can see the anti-Semitism on the rise in Britain. And we can see that in terms of foreign policy, he cannot take a bold stand and he cannot say clear messages regarding Iranian Revolutionary Guards and the dictatorship in Iran. And we didn't see him condemning what happened in Iran in the way that it should have been. But that is regarding Keir Starmer. So I think, yes, he is one of the weakest leaders in the world. Yes, I speak on behalf of the government of Israel. Yes, we do not forget that he, in the middle of a war, recognized a non-existent Palestinian state, awarded Hamas for its aggression, awarded Hezbollah in Iran for their aggression. So this is well-based, and it is much bigger than just the current situation with Iran.